Ladies and gentlemen, we have organized a very, very special guest for the last day of the GPC convention. Without further delay, let me introduce the most famous cricket player in the United States. Our MC, Tim McGreevy.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. Cricket, thank you. We love you, we love you. It's fantastic. This is a great sport. We play it all over America. Absolutely. Cricket, I love cricket. Woo. Oh, and I love the music. Look at this music. Fantastic, fantastic. Oh my gosh, did you know I am carrying the bat of the 2016 test match between Sri Lanka and Australia. Guess who won? Sri Lanka! Woo! Yes. I'm sorry, Australia. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Now this is my favorite game. This is my favorite game in Sri Lanka. Watch this. Oh my God. Guess who this game is against? Australia! Ah, yes. Angela. Fantastic. Cricket, the national pastime of Sri Lanka. Did you know that in Sri Lanka, they have 26 days of holidays? 26 days. And when I asked the cab drivers, the tuk-tuk driver, I said, why do you have 26 holidays? He says, well, cricket takes a very long time. 5 days. 5 days for a test match. 5 days. You can't go to work. 26 holidays. That's why we need cricket in America. That's why we need more holidays. Look at this, the 1996 World Cup Championship between Sri Lanka and Australia. Sri Lanka was victorious. The best game, and I just want you to know, yes, oh yes, clapping. There's a few Sri Lankans here. It's all right, the Australians can exit the room if they really want to, you know. But a great match, the Cricket World Cup. I was introduced to cricket in 1995 when I traveled to India. A fantastic game, really fantastic game. So, right, cricket, we're going to have a little test here, right? So we know, we want to tell you, right? Here we go. Who is the best Sri Lankan cricket player? Who is the best? Kumar Sangakkara or Arjuna Ranatunga? Okay, so all those in favor of Kumar Sangakkara. Oh no, clap. I want to see clapping, yelling. Who is he the best? Is he the best? Oh, yeah, well, he is a young man. He is a young man. Although he does have a very nice restaurant called the Ministry of Crab that I ate at this week. Fantastic place, really. So, Arjuna Ranatunga, is he the best player? Okay, well, you can't clap for a politician. I mean, that's very true. But he's very good. So, I want to introduce to the stage, right? Who is the best cricket player of the pulses splitting and processing industry? Could I get Mahmood and Salim and Razak to come to the stage, please? Please come to the stage. Yes, the three brothers are major sponsors of the Global Pulse Confederation. Don't you think, look at these handsome men right here. Don't you think, could I get the next slide, please, Angela? Because I think that Mahmood looks just like Kumar. Don't you think? He looks just like him, huh? And Salim, just like Anjana. He doesn't have a beard. He doesn't have a beard. Okay, well, I wanted to personally thank, right, your company for the major sponsorship. And I wanted to give you a token of our appreciation, Randy. Okay, I am not going to be able to attend your son's wedding. I'm very sorry. But I wanted to give him a bat, right? That is the series bat for Kumar, right? And I was told a very good price, by the way. And also to give you actually a match ball as well. Thank you so much for helping, for sponsoring this convention and introducing me to cricket. Very good. Now, who is the best cricket player out of these three? What do you think? Huh? Yeah. Thank you very much. All right. Enough. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you, Salim. All right, so we're going to introduce the next panel, right? I will be taking pictures with this. Anyone who would like to, this is all the names of the 2016 cricket team. In fact, I came to Sri Lanka. You have so many holidays and such a beautiful place here. Beautiful weather, beautiful beaches, beautiful wildlife. And I thought maybe I should apply to become the Sri Lankan national team coach, because your team hasn't been doing well lately, right? And so I thought maybe I could reinvigorate it with some American ingenuity. I know a lot about baseball. I'm sure it transfers directly. Okay, so I want to introduce our next panel. Our next panel is our global chickpea panel, and for Kabuli chickpeas, and we have a great panel coming up. I'm sure all fantastic cricket players as well. And so I'd like to introduce our analyst, which is Eleazar Cota. And now the panel members, please come forward. We have Faisal Anas Majeed. We have Pedro Luengo. Give them all big rounds of applause. They're coming up. We have Jem Bogusouglu. We have Pablo Marziotte, we have Ron Williams, and Navneet Singh Chhabra, who taught me a lot about cricket in the green room. So gentlemen, Eleazar, it is all yours. Go cricket.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I want to thank all the GPC members to invite me here to present the Kabuli panel. Also to all the panelists, to this beautiful country and lovely people. We're going to start with the Indian supply demand. So seeded acres, high prices last year increased the seeded area 65%. The yield is 4% higher than last year. Production is 71% higher. Carry-in is almost nothing. And total stocks is 34% higher. Low prices will have more demand. They will export 86% more. Domestic consumption will increase 23%. The total usage is going to be 30% more, with a potential carryover of 10,000 metric tons. The top 5 buyers from India were Algeria last year in crop 2017, 18,000 metric tons. Pakistan, 10,000 metric tons. Turkey, 8,000 metric tons. And Emirates, 6,000 metric tons. Domestic consumption is going to increase 23%. Import duties will change the market. India will use more of his own chickpeas to cover the demand because they will not able to import. There is a big problem of sizes in India. High temperatures during the growing seasons came with only an increase of the 12 millimeter. More of the increase of the supply is in the small sizes. The price for a 42, 44 today is around $1,000 to $1,060. We are seeing lower values in the last 2 days, and the next day is up another $50, so it's very unstable right now, the price. Then we move to Mexico. This is the breakdown by state in Mexico. Mexico, we got 2 biggest production areas. One is Sinaloa, that it grows 186,000 metric tons. And then Sonora. Sonora is one of the biggest increase in Mexico, especially the Obregon area, with 114,000 metric tons. Nayarit is not a producing area, and also Baja California, 8,000 metric tons. The total supply in Mexico City is 310,000 metric tons. So seeded area in Mexico was 72% higher, the yield 6% higher, the total production 83% higher than last year. Imports, we will not import any chickpea in Mexico City, and the total supply 310. Export, we are seeing a good demand right now, so the potential export in Mexico, I think, is going to be 240,000 metric tons. Seed, all depends how is the prices, but we can use up to 18,000 metric tons. Feed and waste, 79% more. Other domestic consumption in Mexico is increasing. We're going to use about 15,000 metric tons. Total usage, close to 280,000 metric tons, and we can carry out 30,000 metric tons. In Mexico, we are discovering new markets that we didn't export it before. As a result of the small sizes we are getting in Mexico. These countries, normally they were buying product from India or United States and Canada, Argentina, but now Mexico can barely supply these countries. We are seeing good export demand. Last year up till April, we exported around 30,000 metric tons. This year, we already exported 43,000 metric tons. Domestic demand is also increasing, and we are having a very volatile, weak peso, and it's impacting the prices. The prices right now, the average prices for a 12 millimeter is in the range of 1,230 to 1,300, depends on the exporter. 11 millimeters, 1,225 to 1,275. 9 millimeters, 1125 to 1150. 8 millimeters, 930 to 960. Then we go to United States. United States seeded area is going to be 7% higher. It's going to be a better yield. They are very optimistic. The drought in Montana, North Dakota that happened last year, this year we are seeing much better conditions, so the yield can be up to 30%. Production can be 40% higher. Imports, they will import less beans, less chickpeas, 8% less. Stocks, the total supply can be 30% higher than last year. Export, they will bump the exports to 23% higher, and total usage will be 405,000 metric tons, 15% higher. And in the stocks, they can carry up to 100,000 metric tons. Up to February, the top 5 buyers from United States were Canada, 24,000 metric tons, India, 22,000 metric tons, Spain, 18,000 metric tons, Turkey, 15,000 metric tons, and Pakistan, 13,000 metric tons. In 2017, Montana, North Dakota suffered the drought, so in 2018, conditions looks better. As a result, yield may increase. Seeding up to today is delayed at least 2 weeks than last year. The farmers at these prices, they don't want a contract. There is high risk because the crop is delayed, so they are waiting to get any contract right now. We are seeing the production and the trend in the United States is increasing every year, but also we are seeing the consumption is increasing in the pace of 7 to 10% per year. And the increase on the consumption is increasing in the pet food market and also in the human consumption market. We will need good weather by September, October to avoid major problems and to avoid quality problems on the chickpeas. The prices right now we are seeing for 9 millimeters in the United States is in the range from 1,030 to 1,150, and 8 millimeters, 970 to 1,070. Let's go to Canada. Canada seeded area, 66% higher, yield 38% higher, and production increase of 129% higher. Carry in 18,000 metric tons, The total stocks will be 268,000 metric tons, is 111% higher than last year. Export, they will export 158, the potential export is 158,000 metric tons, 41% higher. The total usage will be 218,000 metric tons, 41% higher than last year. And they have a potential carryover of 50,000 metric tons. The top export countries for Canada in 2017, United States, 20,000 metric tons, Pakistan, 19,000 metric tons, Turkey, 18,000 metric tons, India, 8,000 metric tons, and Emirates, 2,000 metric tons. By April 30, 2017, all the chickpeas were on the ground. This year, by that the same time, is 0%. In the last 10 days, the weather is improving and there is some seeding going on. But some farmers will decide in the last minute due to the failure crops that they got in the past and also the quality problems they got in the past. In Canada, also domestic consumption is increasing. There is no carryovers. Argentina is supplying the domestic market until new crop. We will need also good weather by September, October to avoid quality problems. The prices we are seeing from Canada is for a mix 789 is in the range of $835 to $860. Also, we are seeing currency impact in Canada. The Canadian dollar is also under pressure in the last 2 weeks. Let's move to Argentina. Argentina is suffering a big drought in both areas, in the north and in the south. As a result of this, seeded area is going to be 30% less, yield is going to be 10% less, and production it can be up to 43% less. Carrying in, all depends on how is the export from here to the end of the crop, but it can be up to 6,000 metric ton. Total stocks, it can be 89,000 metric tons. That is 40% less than last year. Export, it would be 60,000 metric tons. Domestic, they will use 5,000 metric tons. And total usage will be 85,000 metric tons. That is 46% less than last year. The carryover, it would be almost nothing in Argentina. The top 5 export countries for Argentina were Turkey, 26%, Italy, 11%, Pakistan, 9,000, Portugal, 5,000, and Emirates, 5,000. This is crop 2017 and is up to February. These numbers can change. Drought condition is going to affect the area and the yield. The size of the carryover right now that is left in Argentina, basically 6 millimeters and 7 millimeters, and the quality is not the best. We're seeing a big spread on prices between the Argentinian exporters, and all depends on the quality control that the plants have in Argentina. There is many exporters, but not all of them are certified for some markets. We're seeing a big inflation in Argentina that is higher than the devaluation. So cost of production in Argentina is increasing. Prices, we are seeing the prices for a 7 in the range of 780 to 820, 8 millimeters, 880 to 920, and 9 millimeters in the range of 980 to 1020. Other countries, it's going to be election in Turkey, and it could affect the currency, duties, and confidence in the business. Turkey can move the market, is one of the biggest buyers and also one of the hubs for the MENA countries. 400,000 metric tons is the official number for production in Turkey, but the industry ideas is between 200,000 to 200,050, and it can be lower, depends on the weather. Right now, the crop is suffering a little bit of dry and heat, but it's too early to say that it's going to be a major problem. Russia, the crop can be similar than last year, 320,000 metric tons. Exports depends on prices, but it can reach up to 240,000 metric tons. And they are also having high temperatures in the production area that is not good for the chickpeas. let's move to Spain. Spain production will be similar than last year, around 50,000 metric tons. All depends what is going to be the yield. There is more area seeded in Spain, but lately they are having heavy rains and some weather problems, so yield might decrease, but the result can be the same amount of chickpeas than last year. Crop is delayed, and also the consumption is moving to the small sizes. They are not taking many jumbo or big sizes from Mexico. Pakistan will need to import in the range of 180,000 metric tons. New import countries will supply Pakistan because the FIDO regulations and the ban to India. So let's move to the conclusions. So the big sizes, I'm talking big sizes 11 and 12 millimeters, India is going to get only 37,000 metric tons more than last year, and Mexico only 60,000 metric tons than last year. So we are seeing that the total supply for big sizes in the world is only 100,000 metric tons more than last year. But as the prices already decreased almost half of the price, Mexico last year we were trading chickpeas around 2,300, and right now we are trading the chickpeas in the range of 1,275. So we are seeing a big demand on these big sizes. India also is the same. The prices they were trading last year was 2,000, and this year, even today, I heard prices below $1,000. So we are seeing demand that countries that normally they used to buy medium and small sizes, now they are moving also to the big sizes. And this is the production for the small sizes. So we are seeing a big increase on the small sizes, 420,000, 450,000 metric tons, that we can get the potential to get it in the next 6 months. It's 29% higher than last year. But the weather is going to be the driver in the market. There is a lot of the seeding going on right now, and all the countries that they are producing, they are facing not the best start in the market. Consumption is increasing worldwide. We are underestimating the demand, but we can see globally more consumption of chickpeas in the world. And more than 1.5 million tons are coming in the market in the next 6 months. We are not getting the best start, as I said before, in all the areas. And the Mother Nature will determine what is the market. Thank you very much. Let's move to present our panelists. So let's. It's working? Yes, yes. So let's move to our panelists. I want to start with India. So Navneet, can you tell us what is the situation in India? We're seeing a financial crunch, and how is the import duty affecting the market?
Let's start with the production numbers. The slides is showing the same number, more or less 500,000 tons for the Kabulis, which belong to our state, Madhya Pradesh. But we have another variety also of the small Sapaniola type with the other states. So the total, this varieties of the small sizes is around 250,000 tons. So that means if you talk about the total white chickpeas varieties is not less than 750,000 tons in India. But because this is the Kabuli panel, so 500,000 tons for the Kabuli. Yes, the bigger sizes is because of the high temperatures in the month of January and February, we get comparatively less the high percentage as we got every year. So 200,000 tons with the high 42 to 46 calibers is right numbers. And rest is the smaller sizes. And we are, have a good demands at these prices. Almost in the market, the farmers bring around 200,000 tons till the month of April end. Out of 200,000 tons, 100,000 tons is consumed locally, domestic market. 55,000 tons is already exported in the month of Feb, March, and April. And the rest 50,000 with the traders as a stocks. So still we need around arrivals is for the next 9 months, 250,000 tons arrival will be in the market. So regarding the imports, yes, the imports, we will not do the imports because there's a 44% duties on the Kabuli, so the imports is not there for this year.
But do you think that import duty is going to go away or going to stay for the rest of the year?
No, even import duty is nil also. We have sufficient supply from the small sizes of the, as I said, the other varieties has a good number of production, so which is mostly consumed locally. We see that the market, we have good demands, but in the same like, we have the crop same like 2013. So in these good times, in that good time, we exported to Algeria and Pakistan a lot. But this year, the main hurdle is the Pakistan import permits. I mean, if you see in the Feb and March month, we export 8,000 tons to Pakistan. And I mean, if the Pakistan has started the issuing the import permit for India, every month we export 10,000 tons minimum to Pakistan.
Okay, so
Algeria also, I mean that Algeria, because of the payment hurdles, we are not easily shipping to Algeria.
So let's move to Pakistan so we can understand what is going on in Pakistan. New regulations, new phytos, permits. Faisal, can you explain more the situation, how much demand you will need to import in the next months, and also who will be supplying Pakistan, because India, they cannot get the product from India, and it was a major exporter.
Thank you, Eleazar. My name is Faisal Majeed from Bombay's Group, Karachi, Pakistan. I'll go over the statistics, what Pakistan is producing and how much we import annually. Pakistan is actually producing 50 to 60,000 tons of its own local crop, which is usually small caliber. And apart from that, our consumption is about 200 to 225,000 tons annually. So we import, like Navneet also informed that about 10,000 tons every month we import from India. But with this, we need to import 150 to 160,000 tons from other origins. So Pakistan is searching and importing from Canada, USA. As you can see on your figures, that Pakistan was under the top 3. So Pakistan is importing from Argentina, USA, Mexico, Russia, and Burma, all these Kabuli chickpeas, and they're finding new origins from Sudan and all.
And do you think that these low prices against last year is going to increase the demand?
The demand is not very, I don't think so that this decrease in the prices would increase the demand, but because the Kabuli chickpeas demand is specific in specific areas. So some areas like big calibers, some area like small calibers. So the demand would be around 200 to 225,000 tons. Yeah.
So let's move to Spain. Pedro, how you think is the crop looking? We are seeing that Spain is one of the top quality buyers of chickpeas. How is the crop looking? Do you see the demand is changing to small sizes? And also, how many you think Spain will need to import in the next months?
Well, Spain is probably one of the main consumers in Europe for chickpeas, mainly quality chickpeas. Total demand would be around 70 to 75,000 tons, I would say. And this demand is supplied by both imports and domestic. Main imports come from the US, from Mexico, and from Argentina. And regarding domestic, if we look at the official figures, many may not agree a lot with them. Anyway, we see an important increase in the last 5 years, almost doubling if we look at the provision of the seeding of 2018. This number points out that there are 50,000 hectares seeded for next season. And although if you're asking about how the crop looks like, probably we will be looking at yields slightly below average because of some high moisture that has led to some disease that have been treated. But still, yielding between 0.8, 0.9 will leave us a crop of 40 to 45,000 tons, which is a number for Spain. The rest will be obviously imported. What will be the exact number of the imports? It's something that's not easy to say. Obviously, less firm prices will encourage an excess on the imports, but I would situate those somewhere between 35 to 40,000 tons anyway. And you also asked about the sizes, and we've seen in the last years a movement towards small or medium caliber chickpeas, and that might be, well, prices probably had helped a lot this, but mainly because of the gaining importance of the canning and jarring market against the traditional packaging, which was demanding a larger chickpea. It has kind of have moved in that sense. So Spain probably does not achieve the big numbers in terms of imports or production, other main countries do, but we still have a reasonable, stable, no major ups and downs demand, and that would, well, that made Spain probably will be playing his role in the industry. Thank you.
So let's move to the United States. Ron, how is the seeding? We are seeing some losses of acres in the last minute due to the weather, and also we are seeing a big increase on the demand in the pet food market and also in the human consumption. So can you explain a little more what's going on in your market?
Sure. Currently in the U.S., in the northern tier, Washington, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, we're approximately 65 to 70% seeded. We are running late. As the season has got late on us, we have lost a few acres. As recent as last Friday, we had some of our producers coming in and canceling their chickpea seed and buying other seed, mainly hardwood spring wheat seed. So I think in the end, we will have acres maybe closer to 650,000 or slightly lower. I think in the US numbers that we showed earlier, they were 668, something like that. So we will be a little bit lower on our acreage. We are getting some moisture currently. It's raining. I was talking to them today, and the forecast for the next few days in Montana is for some additional moisture. That'll slow the balance of the seeding a little bit, but will benefit the crop that is already in. And in the end, in the next 10 days or so, I think we will go a long ways toward finishing up the last 30 to 35% of the seeding. And with normal, if we can get back to normal yields with good moisture over the next month or so, we should see higher production than last year. If you look at the numbers, we could see maybe 35 to 40% more production this year than we've had last year with the drought that we had in Montana. It still all depends on what Mother Nature decides to give us, and as we know in this business, Mother Nature rules, so we will have to wait and see. With regards to the increase in the domestic consumption, last year we estimated there was approximately 140,000 tons of domestic consumption. This year, in the 2018 crop, we should see maybe in the neighborhood of 160,000, somewhere in that range. And it should be, it's hard to get a good estimate on how much of that is pet food versus human consumption. Maybe 50-50 at this point in time. Over the years, not that last few years, maybe been more 75% on the human side and 25% say on the pet food side, but over the last 2 to 3 years, that's greatly increased. We've sold a lot of chickpeas into the pet food market, as everybody knows.
Thank you, Ron. Let's move to Russia. Jim, how is the crop looking? We are seeing a consistent supply from Russia in the last years, and it's becoming an important player supplying chickpeas into Turkey. How is the crop looking? What we are seeing right now in the weather, right now is in the seeding season, and also what you expect on prices?
Hello, everyone. So I guess everybody is a bit tired already, looks like. So the question here is, Russia is the bad boy of the chickpeas. We have the cheapest alternative for the chickpeas, yes, that's correct. But the supply-demand part for the whole chickpeas, in my opinion, is more depending on the Indian production and consumption. For the last year specifically, India haven't imported anything from Russia. And still, Russia was, as you said in your numbers, managed to export something around 200,000 tons. I would call the number closer to 200,000 tons rather than 240. On the production side, in my opinion, we will have the similar numbers, 350,000, you know. Russia is not very good for the statistics, but this is the assumption that we have in the industry. And hopefully, if the weather goes okay, you're going to have a similar size production this year. And in my opinion, the most crucial time for the chickpeas harvest in Russia is the coming 2-3 weeks, as we received very dry weather following to the seedings. The seedings is almost 95 to 100% done. The temperature was very hot compared to the normal season normals. It's like around 30-32 degrees, which is a very high temperature after the seedings especially. We need some moisture in the first 2 weeks of the seedings, which we didn't receive. So that's why I think everything is dependent on the weather for the time being. If we will have some nice rains, we're going to have similar crop, which I believe the prices will get a bit softer. But if not, in my opinion, the chickpeas will remain at these numbers at least. But everything can change very quickly. In the room, there are so many friends, colleagues who ask me the question about the weather. And 3-4 years back in Las Vegas, after the conference, in 2-3 weeks, we received 1 week or 10 days hot wave for the temperature 40-45 degrees, which killed all of the flowers and brought the yield at very low numbers. So, in my opinion, the weather is very crucial at this point, and it's hard to make an estimate for the price. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim. Let's move to Argentina. Pablo, how about this drought? What we can expect on the yields, and what is the farmer going to do when they get lower yields, high cost of production, and low prices?
Well, first of all, the drought in Argentina was really strong, especially in Córdoba, our main productive area. Just to give an example, in a normal year, we get around 800 millimeters of rain, and during the last year, we just got 200 millimeters. It's important to bear in mind that in Argentina, we have to accumulate water during summer, the previous summer, in order to grow chickpeas. So the situation is a little bit complicated today, but luckily, and we have been getting some rains in the last 15 days. Those rains have been concentrated, especially in the north part of the country. There are not enough yet in Córdoba. It's still raining there and today, and the weather forecast indicates that we will get some rains in the next 2 or 3 days. In my opinion, we will assure with this the possibility to plant around 60,000 hectares of chickpea this year. The problem is with the current prices we are seeing, the lack of water or the uneven distribution of the water in the country, farmers, we have to think a lot about the profitability of the crop. Probably some farmers might decide to change the crop from chickpeas to, for instance, wheat or even soybean. Probably they skip on they skip the winter and go on directly to a summer crop like soybean. It would happen.
Thank you, Pablo. So I would like to move to the audience to ask any question. Feel free to answer. And one of our panelists will start answering those questions. So the first question, how will India export 140,000 metric tons when Pakistan will be not buying any due to the import duty? Okay. Navneet, can you take that question, please?
Yes, my pleasure. As I said earlier, in 2013, there is no issues of the import permit to India. On that time, we are exporting. In 2013, we have the same crop like this year. So on that time, we are exporting 10,000 tons monthly to Pakistan. So I'm saying that if right now, as I said, that the main hurdles is the Pakistan and the Algerian issues. Like Pakistan, we are not getting the import permit. So if we get the import permit, Pakistan is a buyer for every month 10,000 tons. And if the Algerian payment terms is easy for us, and for, I mean that if the government change their again payment terms, we export every month to Algeria 5,000 tons. So these two markets are right now it's out of the market. I mean that we exported in the first 2 months 8,000 tons. There is some import permits. Some Pakistan buyers have, so we exported in the Feb and March 8,000, but April onwards, we don't have the import permits from Pakistan.
Thank you, Navneet. The next question, no mention of Australia. What do you think is the total Australia production? Reports are planting is up 20%, so this market is a bigger player now in the smaller sizes. Yes. I think Australia is going to come into the game. As the Desi chickpea production is decreasing, they can increase the production of Kabuli chickpeas. Right now, I don't have any official number. And also, we are seeing other countries coming into players like Sudan, Bulgaria, but it's hard to track all this production area because some of those chickpeas also is no data between the trading. The next question. Currently, the subsoil is very dry in Saskatchewan and Montana. Unless it rains, the production could be much less. Will this impact the CI, the prices? Ron?
If we don't receive the rains and we don't get the crop, absolutely. You know, our prices will go up in what we're willing to offer. There's no doubt about that. It's pretty simple.
Thank you.
Can I ask Ron something at this point? What do you think the effect to the export, I mean, the demand on the feed side, pet food side, is it consistent? Because it's very important for the industry and for the pulses, you know, to have new consumption areas for all pulses. This is what Mr. Hussein wanted to emphasize in the opening with the GPC Colombo Accord. To have more consumption in different usage areas for the whole pulses. So what do you think? Is it getting more and more consistent to have the chickpeas or the pulses as a pet food ingredient?
The simple answer is yes. As we increase our production, we are able to build that supply base, and it's a much more consistent availability for the domestic consumption, so yes.
So let's move to the next question. What is the premium between Indian and Mexican big sizes Kabuli chickpeas, 100, 150 or less? So all depends on the season. I think early in February, March, April, I think the spread on the Indian and Mexican chickpeas is less, and after May, when we can see some weevil damage in the Indian chickpeas, then the market can increase. But lately, there is no relation. Last year, sometimes even the Indian market was more expensive than the Mexican market, and this year, sometimes we're even, and now we can see a big spread between the two countries. So I don't think it's any relation right now, any consistent relation between the two countries. And also, some countries, they cannot import from India, and some countries are more price takers than quality takers. My question goes to Spain. How is the new crop looks like in Turkey? Oh, sorry. My question goes to Spanish.
Spanish guy.
It's kind of a tricky question for me, isn't it? I think you're more of an statistics guy. How does the new crop looks in Turkey? What do you think about that?
There is no real official confident number. Most people that I talk to them, they say the crop is between 200 and 250,000 metric tons. Right now, the weather is a little bit dry. They got some rains lately, but we don't know what is going to be the impact on the yield. So it's hard to tell right now how is the crop looking. We have to wait another month and see how the crop develops. The next question, what about weevil attack percentage in Indian chickpeas now?
Sorry?
What about weevil attack percentage in Indian chickpeas crop right now? So is there any weevil damage right now in the crop?
Yeah, weevils has started. I mean that it is need to be understand that the Mexican and Indian strategy of buying chickpeas is different. In Mexico, farmers are selling all the chickpeas at the time of harvesting to the exporters, but in India, every day we are receiving the chickpeas from the farmers. So the farmers who are holding the crop, they did not have the good resources to save with the weevils. But I mean that the traders, we have a good facilities, cold houses and warehouses where we can stop the weevils. But the problem is that the farmers did not have the solution. So every day we are getting the crop in the markets, every day we are processing, and that's why it's weevil in the crop. But if the cargo is taken care in a good way, we did not have the weevils in the cargo. Same like the Mexico.
Thank you, Navneet. The next question. Kabuli seems to having a similar year like red lentils that did 2 years ago. Overproduction throughout the world. What are your thoughts? So, Ron, what are your thoughts? Is there any relation between red lentils and chickpeas in the world supply?
Well, I think the question is on the comparison with the overproduction, if you will, on the chickpeas this year. You know, we will see prices move lower, in my opinion, and it depends on, at least for us in the U.S., if our farmers decide to participate in that. They will, at some point, sell some of their crop, but our producers have the ability to hold their crop, and they could hold it for a year if they so desire. So at least for us on the U.S. side, we'll participate at lower values, but maybe not to the degree that some buyers think that we will.
I would like to.
And what do you think, Sam, is what the farmer is going to do if they start seeing the prices are decreasing, is moving down?
Well, from the Russian perspective, I can easily say that the Russian farmers are really used to the pulses to get higher at price by the end of the crop year. So they don't mind to sell the other commodities they have in the beginning and store the pulses, the peas, chickpeas especially, until the end of the crop year. And you know, in Russia, mainly the farmers are big farmers, and they have major other crops like wheat, barley, or some oilseeds that they can preferably sell instead of discounting the prices. You see, and today, I mean, it's not as a question, but I would like to say to the audience as well, for the next question, I see it, that it's going to be less or not, is when you go back to the farm gate prices, is losing its attractiveness if the chickpeas becomes very cheap. Compared to 2-3 years back, we have seen the record low prices around, I think, $450 for farmer dress. In my opinion, the prices would not be pushed until that levels. As you see, for example, Sudan is at $500, but with a smaller caliber, which is 4-5 millimeters, compared to the Russian 6-7-8, majority 6-7. That's why I think the Russian can go a bit softer if the production is going to be good. Otherwise, it will remain at the same levels. Of course, depends on the imperfection of any other producing or importing countries.
Thank you, Jem. Let's move to the
comment on Jem's point also that the application of the Russian chickpeas is not like the Sudan and Burma. Like there's a question that Sudan and Burma is different, and the Russian chickpeas is a different application. So I think it's not right to connect the Russian chickpeas with Sudan and Burma. Russia is mainly consumed in the Middle East country, and it does not concern with the prices of Sudan and Burma.
Well, typically, maybe yes, you're right, but today if you ask in the room, whoever asked me Russian chickpeas is comparing the price with the Sudanese, correct? So it means there is a correlation. The people are tending to replace it. Like somebody was asking me, are you trading chickpeas now? I said, no, I better go to the casino. I have more chance to win there. So we don't know what next year how it's going to be.
So let's move to the next question. We believe that price variation between the small and large caliber will be quite wide this year. Will you like the panel opinions? Last year, the spread between the small sizes and big sizes also was quite spread. This year, we are seeing the spread between small sizes and big sizes are less. We are seeing in the range of 1,100 9 millimeters from United States, and also $1,000 from Argentina, and also the 12 millimeters from Mexico is 1,200. So we can see the spread between 9 millimeters and 12 millimeters is $200. And even today, some Indian prices are 12 millimeters are the same price of 9 millimeters from United States and Argentina. Pakistan is going to make any changes at the import permit in the short term. Faisal, can you help us with this question?
Yeah, thank you, Eleazar. Actually, the Pakistan Plant Protection Department has not issued any official ban or anything or notification for not issuing import permits, but they are in the process and they're not giving out the import permits, they're accepting the application, so we don't have a proper deadline or anything that when they'll be able to open it. So, but in the short term, we don't see it happening with the attitude of the department.
Thank you very much. For Indian chickpeas, where do you see the price falling to and stabilize for the larger size caliber?
Okay. I mean that the price is already, it's a very good prices right now. And this prices is only because, as I said, of the less demands from Algeria. Otherwise, we did not see even this prices. So I don't know where is the price bottom out, but I mean that if you have a demands of 10 containers, keep buying 3 containers, 3 and average is doing price. This is the best way to get away from this downside. I mean that. Averaging is the right option. I don't know up to where the price should be bottom out, but I think it's a good level.
Thank you, Navneet. The next question. How is the quality this year in Argentina? And can they make some standard parameters like United States and Canada?
Sorry. Facing the quality issue, we have to divide in 3 items, I think. First, size. In size, we have to wait until to know exactly the distribution of the area, because in the northern part of the country, we achieve smaller sizes. And also, we have to know exactly when we finally plant, the date of final plant, because if we plant late, we also could achieve smaller sizes. In terms of washed and blanched grain, we are not expecting difference between this year and the previous year. And anyway, I would like to remark some point because new varieties from Argentina have a lighter color scheme that is a genetic characteristic that sometimes is confused with some quality problems, and sometimes it gets some discussion with some of our customers. But at the end of the day, it's just a characteristic, a genetic characteristic for our new varieties, and it's not a problem, a quality problem. And in terms of the standards, well, Argentina has been improving its not only its capacity in plants, but also its technology in plants. And many plants are under standards, so I think we can achieve a really good quality and also a traceability of our product.
But Argentina is working as individual companies, or are they putting together a program to try to increase the quality, or is more like a personal company plan?
Both. Because the most important companies are working a lot in improving its quality. We are all together in the Argentina Pulses Chamber working in improve our quality and also to follow in standards.
Thank you. Let's move to the next question. The question is to Jem. Do you think a lot of producers in Russia will carry their current crop chickpeas stock into the new season, considering the high price expectations?
Well, in my opinion, the existing stocks in Russia are very limited, at least the good quality ones. I mean, in the room, so many one has been asking me, can I trade 10 containers, 5 containers, 20 containers here and there? But my trust in the quality is very less. I think the remaining quality in Russia is mostly with the dirty and damaged chickpeas. So that's why I don't think there is something big waiting to be exported out of Russia.
The next question. In June 10 is the last day to buy any GMO and non-GMO condition for Plant Protection Department for imports into Pakistan. How do you see the impact of prices of the Kabuli?
Actually, last time, apart from the production statistics and our consumption, plant protection is playing a major role in Pakistan's market now. So they keep on putting some new items on the menu. So they have done this, they've required that after 10th of June, whatever BL is coming, so they should mention non-GMO on the phytosanitary certificate. It is still under negotiation with the origins, but I think they'll put a little pressure on early shipments and buying whatever is available right now. Before that, when we had a limited time to import from India, like Navneet also informed that we imported about 8,000 metric tons, and it was within a short span of time. So our local market also get affected with a lot of pressure together, cargo coming in together. So let's see, there will be a pressure on early shipments from buyers from Pakistan. But till that time, maybe we'll be able to negotiate with the origins to give non-GMO certificates as well.
Thank you very much. Do you think the consumption in Spain will increase above the estimate 70 to 75,000 metric tons with such a low prices level? How much Spain will import?
Well, Spain in 2017 imported around 45,000 tons. Main origins were the US with 18,000, Mexico about 13,000, and Argentina with about 7,500 tons. If this new crop in 2018 will definitely be larger than last, but if you're asking if some players will be importing more because of the high prices, the history tells us that when there's been low prices, I mean, in the industry, the imports have gone up. So they might, yeah.
Thank you. So the next question is to Russia. What's the mean return per hectare that they will make their farmers happy against cereals?
Well, in my opinion, it is not below $500, that's for sure. If you compare with the wheat, for example, in the chickpea growing area or the alternate products, it's at least the chickpea is 1/3 per yield compared to the grains or some of the oilseeds. So it should be at least around $500. Below that, it will lose the attractivity totally by the farmers.
So let's move to the last question. Last two questions. What is the current stock in Argentina and what sizes?
Well, basically the sizes are between 7 and 8, I think. The current stock, because in the numbers you have just presented, we are talking about the final stock. Today, I think we are around 15,000 tons. In my opinion, 50% of those stock is in hands of the farmers.
Thank you. What's the price forecast for India, United States, and Mexico chickpeas going forward? And also, we should include Russia. What do you think, Pablo and all the panelists, at these prices, can we see a potential increase on the area or decrease in the area for 2019 crop?
Well, in my opinion, with the current prices, at least in Argentina, we are exactly in the limit in which farmers have to decide if they're continuing planting chickpeas or they decide to move to other crop like wheat or even go directly to a summer crop or just planting a cover crop and then planting a soybean crop, for instance.
As I said a couple of minutes ago, if the chickpeas price goes below 500, I think we will see a serious decrease in the production, or at least lower numbers from what we are looking at today.
Ron?
I think for the U.S. near term, we will see prices want to decrease a little bit as the exporters want to be able to participate in the global market. However, before they can move very much, our producers will have to start to participate in the market and show us that they're actually going to sell the lower levels before we'll reduce our prices much.
Navneet, what do you think next year? Is they going to grow more or less?
Yeah, sure, it should be, I mean, with the current price level, yes, it should be definitely decrease of the seeding for the 2019 crop, maybe 20% for sure.
Also in Mexico, I think Mexico at these current prices, Mexico will grow less chickpeas for 2019 crop, especially the new area that is Obregón area, that it grows this year 80,000 metric tons, and they are normally typical growers of cereals, and they can go back to the cereals. So thank you very much in the name for all the panelists. We'd like to thank all the GPC and also all the members to be here in this Kabuli panel presentation.
Thank you.
Great work. Thank you very much, Eleazar, and the whole panel. We're going to give you a small gift and also get a picture of you in front of the dais here. So if you want to move to the front, we'll get that done. Very interesting panel. You're all brilliant. I'm a farmer, though. I want prices higher. Very good. All right, very good. Thank you very much.